This is Lily's treasure.
You said that's the treasure. Sorry.
That's better. Bring the camera a little bit that way.
Well, no, yeah, we got a newbie. Hold on. Should I keep it only on her all night? There you go.
Look good.
Jeff's music is going through my head.
Yeah, it looks like it doesn't work.
We're there. That's all right?
At this time, I'd like to call the Village of Midlothian Board meeting to order for November 11, 2015. Roll call.
Trustee Gillis. Trustee Ivan.
Here.
Trustee Tilley. Trustee Kreis.
Here.
Trustee LaRue.
Here.
Trustee Maskell.
Here.
Mayor Ryback.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Please stand for the pledge, and after the pledge, remain standing for a moment of silence for our veterans. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, I will open the floor to public comment. If you'd like to address the board, now would be the time. Kathy?
Kathy Caveney. I do have a couple questions for Don, but he's not here, so could I ask him when it's his turn on the report, if he comes? Okay, and just so you know, my questions for him is, I just wanted to know what the status of the building superintendent position was, if they've received any applications, and also what the status of the village's answer was to the IDNR's CRS letter. You know, what work they've gotten done so far.
I would probably address that to Jeff because he's been part and parcel to it. Did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're reviewing the information that was submitted and put together kind of a list of what we have, what we need, and what we need to do for all of them. So, working my way through it, I think I'll have a better picture at next meeting.
At next week's committee meeting?
Or
Or board meeting in 2 weeks? Okay, very good. And I do have a couple questions on the bills list. I noticed that there are 6 different reimbursements to village employees for cell phone usage, and they're all $150. So, but they don't stipulate what the time frame is for unless that date of 11/1/15 to 5/1/16 is the time frame. But why would we be reimbursing them in advance for all those months, for 6 months? And how did you come up with that number?
I'm new to this reimbursement because it's not every board meeting, but I'd be glad to look into that and get back to you.
Because I would think that, I mean, if the village employees are required to use their cell phone for work, I understand reimbursing them, but it should be a reimbursement and we shouldn't be paying them in advance because it hasn't been used yet, so.
Kathy, if I could address that, and I think Kelly, you might want to jump in. So we decided to do this, oh gosh, maybe a year or two ago, because it was more cost effective when we were looking to, trying to close our deficit, which we unfortunately still haven't closed, but it was more cost effective to give them a stipend. And
And I have no issue with that,
and the thing is, if they were to leave,
but,
we could then,
how do we get it back?
off their last paycheck. We
Okay,
could deduct it, that did happen, I believe, with Mr. Lang.
Okay.
And so we did take that out of his last paycheck.
okay,
Okay,
that's
so we're
fine.
cognizant of that.
It's basically $25 a month.
Okay.
It's costing us triple that.
Yeah. Oh, no, that makes total sense. I have just not seen this many reimbursements on one, didn't notice it on
It's
one
every
bills
six-
list before.
6 months, it's taking $25
We're
a
going to do it
month.
Yeah.
once every 6 months.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay?
The other question I had, and I know that this came up either, I think this came up at the last board meeting, is the village's reimbursement to GTL. It's very disturbing that, again, on this list, there's a payment to be approved for $13,000. I mean, I thought that per village ordinance, that if we're gonna have a contract with a company that exceeded $20,000 or $30,000, it had to be bid out and there should be a contract in place. And based on the conversation we heard at the last meeting, I don't think there is a contract. And if this company is just showing up willy-nilly and claiming that they're cutting grass when it hasn't even grown, I would question why the village would even pay them. Perhaps maybe this should be stricken from the list and tabled for a time being, and somebody from the village needs to call them and negotiate this down, because this is ridiculous. I don't remember even last summer or the summer before the village incurring this much bills just for having grass cut.
I don't recall, were you at the committee meeting last week?
Yes,
Don talked about this.
right. Oh,
did.
that
So
was last
Don-
week, not the week before, okay.
Okay, Don talked about this, and he was very upset about it. There was an oversight in the building department to monitor this summer.
Mm-hmm.
That's why this occurred. Don's aware of it. He's,
Well, does it still have to be paid? Can the
Well,
village
they-
strike
well, you know
this
what,
off the
they-
list and go and negotiate it?
they provided the services, but I guess we could talk to Don about
But-
negotiating.
Do we know that they provided the service? I mean, do we know that they were actually out there every week mowing grass?
You know, I don't know because
authorized it?
I mean, did they have to check in with the village once a
there he
week when
is.
they showed up?
There he is.
Okay.
You're on the hot seat, trustee Billy.
Talk and walk at the same time.
It has to do with the GTL bill.
Yeah, it's
and-
the GTL bill, Don.
Yes?
Okay, my question, I know that this came up last week, but it's on the bills list now. So, my issue is that if we don't have a contract with them, and this is the second big bill that we're paying them, doesn't the village have some type of leverage? I mean, when they come to the village once a week to cut grass, do they check in or check out with anybody?
No.
Okay, then how do we know they actually came and cut the grass? You know, I'm thinking
Well, I
that
don't-
if they showed up claiming that they cut grass,
Yeah.
you know, and the grass hasn't grown in a whole week and it didn't really need to be cut, perhaps maybe the village needs to go back to them. Because is this the second bill we're paying to them or the first?
Second.
Okay, so my point before you walked in was that the village is required to have a contract with any vendor if the amount of the contract is going to exceed $20,000 or $30,000, correct?
Which
And-
we're not,
and-
because this is it. But the big issue there was theoretically, they were told by someone to cut the grass every week.
But theoretically, as a vendor, if they want to stay in good standing with the village and continue to get village business, shouldn't there be a check and balance? Shouldn't they have like checked in once a week when they were coming to cut grass and say, hey, we cut 52 lawns today, or we cut 7? I would think somehow it would be
So,
worth,
you
to
know
me,
that-
it would be worth it to give it a try to call them to negotiate this down. Because $13,000 is an awful lot for cutting grass when a lot of those lawns didn't need to be mowed.
For about a little over 2 months, yeah.
And it's work you can't prove that was done at all.
Right.
You have no
Well,
paperwork.
GTL has a good track record because they were recommended by the South River Land.
That means nothing. There's no proof whatsoever. It doesn't matter what recommendation they were given or, you know, look, they could have perfect credit,
I mean-
but without any
No, I'm
receipt
just saying
of,
they worked for Sauk Village and they worked for South River, and they've been, it's not the question of, I don't think that they're dishonest, the question is that we didn't need to have it cut every week.
Well, I think it's dishonest when you do work that doesn't need to be
Be
done.
done.
Right?
I think it's
Well, I really
dishonest when
think,
you
you
do
know, it
work
was
that
sort of-
doesn't need to be done.
Theoretically, they were told to cut every week, but if it was me as a vendor, I would have said, hey, you know, this doesn't look like it needs to be cut. You know, what do you want us to do? But they never did. And the building department doesn't really have a supervision exactly. I mean, they had one person sort of telling them what places to cut, but after that, there wasn't really much there. That just tell them not to cut every week.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm not disagreeing that if we gave them a call and said, hey, you guys cut this every week without it being needed, why didn't you do that? Maybe we could get a break. That's, you know, I mean, it was almost $19,000 for the Summersville farm.
That's
Last
ridiculous.
year for Boy Erickson, it was about $5,000.
For the whole summer?
Yeah.
And now we've paid them 13,000 and 19,000 and another 13,000?
They are doing more properties, there's no doubt about that.
Right.
But Roy Erickson didn't cut
But to quadruple?
properties until it was 4, 5, 6 inches, you know what I'm saying? He
Okay.
didn't cut, he didn't do as many cuts. He was more expensive per cut by far, but he was, also he didn't do as much. So yes.
Well, it's just a thought. I think it should be stricken from the list and someone should call them before it gets paid. Someone needs to have a chat with them before this bill gets paid, because that's crazy. To pay them over $30,000 for cutting grass, and there's no contract in place. The last question, and this is just a question, I noticed that there's an invoice for Made for Life, and it's for janitorial services for municipal buildings. But then there's also another one to Tom Mayat for janitorial services for municipal buildings. Is
Tom
clean?
Meyer is our health officer, and I have no idea what that is.
I know, I didn't think that
Tom's our
Tom was
health
a
officer.
janitor.
And I don't know, that's gotta be a reimbursement, do you know what that is for, maybe?
I don't, I'm sorry, I don't have the.
I can't recall what that's for, but it's not janitorial services.
Okay, just,
Okay.
yeah, just caught
Well,
my
you know
eye.
what? I'll find out what it is, I'll pull the back up,
Okay.
I'll email you.
And Don, do you have a status for us on the building superintendent open position? Do you know if there's been any
We
applicants?
have one application so far. We may have gotten one more that I'm hoping we got, because I heard about that this person wanted to apply for building superintendent. And from what I hear, he would be right up our alley.
Mhm.
Very-
So you've
very
got 2
well
applications so far?
qualified. I mean,
2 applications so far?
one so far.
Oh, one so far.
From a gentleman from Midlothian,
Okay,
and that's all so far.
thank you.
Yes.
George Doden, 147th Place, Midlothian. Mayor Ryback, have we gotten any further on the land deal between the north side of the VFW building and the east side of the VFW building on trading properties there?
I actually talked with Brett Mango this afternoon, and I'm supposed to meet with him tomorrow evening about what we can discuss as far as giving you guys storage areas.
Are they still talking trading properties?
That's what they're asking, yeah. I'm hoping to have more details from them so I can bring them to the board and find out what we can do.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. Valerie Weiskirk, Midlothian, Illinois. I just need some clarity because I swear I did my due diligence, but I couldn't pull all the pieces together. I was trying to trace the history of what is published in the Midlothian Park District. That has the letter from you, the fire department, all that kind of stuff. My records show that you were the one who did go ahead and take the initiative, made the arrangement with the park district to go ahead and do it, and you are the one who went ahead, solicited the advertising, and pulled off the costs. And if I remember from my records, you had explained it was more cost effective to go through the park district rather than through the village. Okay. With all that said, at what point did the money that was for the village newsletter go through Village Hall? In order for it to be a village newsletter, I would think that the money first has to hit the bank books of the village. From there, it would be dispersed, yes, to the park district. So if my understanding is correct, you went out, solicited advertising, which is, again, is fine.
No, I did not. I don't solicit the ads in the Park District book. That is done through the Park District.
So you did no fundraising, and they're doing it. I'm confused.
Okay, what happens is the Park District puts out a book.
Right.
I personally purchase 6 pages in the book, the back cover, and 5 pages.
Okay.
That's where I then list the police department's information, public works, the fire department, my letter, whatever, rain ready,
Right.
anything else.
Okay.
I
So
purchase them personally on my own checkbook.
okay.
So they don't get, and it actually says that in the Park District book, that no village funds are used.
I wasn't disputing the no village funds. Again, trying to understand how this
Yeah,
works
but
because
the ads that are in the Park District book
that's
are.
through them. Okay.
Right.
Because it still comes down to the fact that you purchasing it, that's still cool and it's the right direction. I don't want to shut down the direction, but I still find it to be entirely wrong for you to be allowed to use the village seal, what hangs above your head, without any permission from the village and actually saying a village newsletter. It's not about the content. The content's good. I've been opposed since moment one, and it needs to stop. It needs to be either a village newsletter that, here's the other part, needs to go to every village resident. that doesn't go to every village resident. A village newsletter would, and it's something I kind of hope that you will initiate and figure out how to bring it under our roof and detach it from the park district, because people don't even notice it. The library didn't even know that it existed. I was the one who ended up telling them a few weeks ago. So in order for us to succeed, please reconsider the path, because I quite frankly don't believe you had the authority from moment one to put the seal on there with your personal checkbook. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes?
Dave Mocker on 43rd and Lawndale. I'm curious if the Finance Committee has met to determine how they're going to come up with the finances for the new building superintendent, the HR person, and I guess in the future, the village newsletter.
Yes.
To my knowledge, I can't remember the last time they met, so how are we coming up with the funds for these new positions after it's been said a couple times here in meetings that we're short already?
It's like probably worse than that, but.
So how are we gonna pay for these?
Actually beat me to it, because tonight I was gonna ask the finance committee members to look at their calendars for our finance committee meeting. Because yes, it's time to look at this yesterday and see what we can do. Although we did get some good news from the governor, I guess, today, right?
Don't hang your hat on it.
Yeah.
Still gotta go through the Senate, they're not meeting until January.
Oh, they're not meeting until January?
The Senator, actually, President Cullerton from the state Senate announced that they wouldn't reconvene until after December, or January 1st. So,
That's a pothole in the road business.
yeah, and then I had the other good news that they're now garnishing our local use tax as well.
Right.
So that's about $30,000 a month out of another pot for the village. A month. A month.
Local use?
Local use. That was a new one.
I know,
That gets added on to the gaming.
So the only thing the only thing they're
911,
giving us right now is the sales taxes.
property
And
taxes.
property taxes and.
We're still getting our one.
And our sharing.
Our sharing, and we're still getting our 1 cent home rule.
Okay.
They haven't touched that one. Shh, don't bring it up really loud. Give it those tickets. Would anybody else like to address the board? If not, I will close the floor to public comment. And this evening, the trustees, I have Peter Krinsky from Connor and Gallagher here to discuss the health insurance renewal presentation that trustee Killelea brought up. Peter?
Yes, this year Blue Cross Blue Shield to ensure the village at the same coverages proposed a 7% increase, which was negotiated down to 3.5%. On average, the trend for the health insurance has been double digit, so 3.5% to give the employees the exact same coverage is being proposed on the medical insurance. On the ancillary coverages, currently you're using Guardian for the dental coverage. We did experience an increase in the life insurance by 41%. From a dollar standpoint, it is not huge dollars, but we are proposing to move everything to Guardian. Guardian will give us a free employee assistance program, as well as a college tuition reimbursement program for the employees, and that is at a 4% increase, which was negotiated down 6%.
College tuition reimbursement?
Yes, sir.
What does that mean?
So for every employee who purchases Guardian dental insurance, Guardian will reimburse up to $2,000 per year for any child who's registered by August of their junior year of high school. So this is a new product, or this is a new perk for being with Guardian Insurance. It was rolled out in April, so this is the first opportunity the village has had to offer to their employees. But yes, so as an employee, if you purchase dental insurance, Guardian will contribute up to $2,000 for their children, their nieces, their nephew, their godchildren.
Is that every year, just once a year, or one time?
So it's up to $2,000 per year for every year that we stay with Guardian. So for right now, it seems like it makes a lot of sense. If they go up 15% next year, we have to rethink it, we have to reshop it. But at this point, at a 4% increase with the employee assistance program as well as the reimbursement, I think it makes a lot of sense.
How many village employees do we have that could take advantage of that?
About 85 to 90.
Do we know what the total amount of all the increases are? Blue Cross, the life, the
Yes.
retirees and everything else, what's the total amount of our increase?
I don't have the retiree
Dollar
numbers.
amount?
I don't have the retiree numbers with me as that's a separate policy. For the Blue Cross Blue Shield, it's 39,000 approximately, and for the ancillary coverages, it's 4,000, so 43,000 approximately.
Okay. You can let us know about the other one,
Yes, sir.
just for our budget.
No problem.
We have to check it.
Not a problem.
And you also said it was an alternative, but it wasn't a very good one.
Absolutely.
Not as much coverage, and we would get it, they would get our money one way or the other, right?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, with insurance companies, they're all crooks, and they're either looking for their dollars up front or when you use the coverage.
But just to let everybody know that we did bid on health.
Absolutely.
It wasn't just thinking,
We have
oh, stick with Blue Cross. No.
Yeah, we've had multiple quotes. We've looked at alternatives within Blue Cross Blue Shield. Right now, I'm looking at 6 different options for the ancillary coverages, so this is something that we've been working on since August.
And if I can note, now the employee assistance program will go into effect December 1st.
Correct.
And you'll do some kind of rollout or education process?
Yes, as of right now, we're scheduled for November 16th to come in and do education for the employees, provided approval, of course. And we're also rolling out new technology that our agency is offering at no cost. For efficiency purposes, it will be easier to audit, do enrollment all electronically. So we'll have one spot to see where everyone's enrollments are at, audit versus payroll. And again, that's at no cost to the village.
Hey, Maggie, we are with EAP, with South Suburban Mayors and Managers. And so I'm wondering if we can get, I'm not sure how far out we are paid to, whether we can get a reimbursement or we need to notify them, in fairness to them, that as effective December 1st, we will no longer be utilizing the program that they have.
And with this technology, you're also giving us an HR portal.
That's correct. So now, on behalf of the village, we'll be building a benefits website and a human resources website, which the employees will have access to and find useful links for how to find providers in network, whether it be for all the different coverages of the college tuition, any sort of value-added products. And then also from the village's standpoint as an employer, there's requirements that the government is expecting of you, such as putting summaries of benefits of coverage for all 5 programs, as well as notices, cancer rights, that sort of thing. So by putting everything on the portal, as an agency, we'll be able to cover you to keep you in compliance.
And we can put things on also for our
Absolutely.
policies and procedures and notices and.
Yes.
all that.
So why are you starting it from scratch?
What do you mean?
Well, you said you were going to build something for the village, so why would you not already have software that does exactly what you just said, and all it needs is the custom through the dashboard of adjusting, as you're saying to them, the policies if they want to add it, or, any of those?
So I might have misspoken because what you said is exactly what's happening.
Okay, no, that's why I'm double checking.
Yeah, no, it's software that we've used for other villages, other municipalities, other clients.
Okay.
It's turnkey. It will take us a day to update it and customize it with the village's products.
Okay.
You're also going to still talk nicely about the HSA and
Absolutely.
we
Yep.
get a employee or two to switch over to that. It's a
Yeah.
big savings for the village.
The meetings will look a lot like they were the last couple of years, meaning we'll run through details of all the programs, sell the positives and negatives, and help each employee make the right decision for them and their family, as well as then the back end of that will be a tutorial on how to use the new software, which will only take them a couple minutes. It's basically an online enrollment form, as well as links to additional information.
Any further question? You good? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And as
Appreciate it.
promised, you don't really have to stay.
Thank you for your business, we appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll move on to the agenda. I'd be looking for the approval of the consent agenda. On the consent agenda this evening, we have the approval of the corrected minutes from October 7th, 2015 from the committee meeting, October 14th board meeting, October 14th executive session meetings, the approval of the August 29th, 2015 special meeting, the bill list, and the approval of the August treasurer's report.
We have heard the suggestion of Kathy, I'd like to, if we could delete GTL and Bill and talk to them, maybe we can negotiate a little better deal. Maybe not, but it's worth a shot.
Specifically, vote not to pay it because of the raise.
Okay, so vote not to pay GTL.
Or not to pay GTL?
Specifically not to pay it. If you're not gonna pay it and there's a time frame to pay it, if you don't pay it within 30 days, then a different interest rate can apply. If you specifically reject the bill and then notify the vendor the most interest that they can get for you later, if there's a dispute, it's 1%.
We need to make a motion first.
If you're not gonna pay it and there's a time frame to pay it, you should make a specific motion not to pay it. Should be
And
denied.
I don't know if GTL charges interest, except I have the bill on my desk.
We'll just go not to pay it, and then we don't have to worry about the interest.
Fine.
Okay, so GTL, so we'll do that as a separate vote after we do the consent agenda.
Well, the bills are on the consent agenda, so we have to do that now, correct?
You're approving the bill list with that agreement.
Okay.
Great.
So, make the motion?
Okay. We looking for a second?
I'll second.
Okay, what we're doing is approving the minutes, the bill list minus GTL, and the August treasurer's report. I have a first and a second. Roll call.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Killaley.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Now I'd be looking for a motion not to pay the GTL bill until further investigation has been
I'll make
completed.
the motion. I'll second.
Roll call.
Okay. Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Trustee Killaley.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Maggie, will you make sure that you notify GTL that their bill was rejected? Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to trustee business. Trustee Kreis.
I'm looking for my notes there from the MWRD meeting. I wanted the board to know that on Friday at 1 p.m., we were invited down to MWRD's office. Superintendent Sperry had set up a meeting, and I was then invited to that meeting, and so was Diane Banta from the National Park Service, as well as Josh Coons from South Suburban Mayors and Managers, who's assisting us on our Natalie Creek project and is designing all of the maps. In attendance at that meeting were the engineers who are working on the project, Joe Kratzer, Andrew Wytek, and Cedric Robertson, and John Murray, who is their boss, also attended that meeting. And Joe, you can jump in. I took notes. There was a lot of discussion about a lot of things. The first thing I want to mention before the meeting kicked off is that Joe Kratzer was very complimentary about Helen Lekovich's efforts for this entire project. I think that needs to be noted. He talked about how organized and how helpful she has been and how much data she had. We then sat and we had a meeting and they kind of went through how they see the project unfolding. Hoping it'll go to their board, the project will go to their board, the $9 million project, in December. Their goal is to have a notice to proceed by January of 2016. They anticipate the design phase taking approximately 6 months. There will be permitting with the Army Corps of Engineers, which can have, he said, be a little bit tricky. They're hoping to have the entire project out to bid by late 2016. Typically, when they advertise for bid, it takes about 100 days. There will be an intergovernmental agreement. They'll actually have two, one with Midlothian, one with Oak Forest, and the engineers typically write the IGA. They'll be looking at right-of-way ordinances and other things that have to occur, but they're confident that this project will get approved by their board. They've put an incredible amount of work into this project along with Burns and McDonald, their consulting engineers. I felt very positive when we were at the meeting. I went armed again with our maps, and John Murray looked at me and he said, and these are all available for everyone. You can tell we've done a ton of research on our own. They've provided pins that they need. We've identified them through the GIS system, through South Suburban mayors and managers. And I had talked to Joe Crafts, and I think I mentioned that, about trying to help them acquire the parcels that they need. And we've got all the identifying information and who the owners are and the back taxes, and John Murray looked at me and said, what can you contribute to this project? And I said, well, I think we can assist with property acquisition through the no-cash bid process. And we talked through that process, which would not occur until 2017. County does it, you know, every 2 years. And he said, well, we might not have time for that. And then I put my thinking cap on again and said, well, on some of these parcels, there's so much in back taxes, and they're vacant parcels, that maybe we can work with the bank, because I think some of them are bank owned. Have them donate them to the South Suburban Land Bank. And if they are donated to the South Suburban Land Bank, then Russ Ryden can go in and clear the back taxes, and the village can own the parcels. So that would be one way of acquiring some of the parcels for them. There is one big parcel that they do need to acquire that is privately owned. And I've done some research on that as well.
Does that parcel have back taxes on it, or
no? No, it does not. Unfortunately, it does not. So we know what they need. We're trying to come up with some ideas. And then he looked at me and he said, "And how much did you pay for? How much did you pay for the bridge replacements?" And I said, "About $850,000." And Cedric said, "I think 800. Was it 840 HO?" He added to the penny. And John Murray then said, "Well, that can be your contribution." So I think it was a good meeting. I think there was a lot of good dialogue. We were kind of joking at the end of the meeting. Diane Banta from National Park Service was adding humor to the meeting, but I think we had all the right players at the table. Joe, anything else you'd like to add?
Took everything off my notes.
Yes.
Cedric and Joe mentioned when they're going to bring the final package to the board for their final blessing and approval?
December.
Hopefully December.
Hopefully December. They have, like we do, they've got to get everything to their board. They only have so many meetings. So I felt really positive when we left there. I think this project is a go. They put an incredible amount of work. They had all kinds of maps on the board when we went in there. And they actually have emailed us the project plans as well. So we have, tomorrow we have at 1 o'clock a Natalie Creek Trail meeting, which this all goes in with the project. And that was the other thing, we talked to them. Since we're hoping to eventually have a Natalie Creek Trail, I asked John Murray to consider that, to consider opportunities where we could partner together. And I said, in no way do I want this Natalie Creek Trail project to delay any of your work. It is too important. And I told them their $9 million flood control project is going to be a game changer for Midlothian, as far as not only for our residents, but for economic development. And he kind of mulled on it. And as we talked about it, I think he kind of started to get engaged in the process. Do you think that happened, Joe?
Yeah.
I mean, he talked about, we said, you know, it's not going to cost you. We don't want you to do anything extra. It's not going to change the scope of your work. But if you're in there doing stabilization and you've got equipment in there, and he said, yeah, maybe we could kind of, like smooth things out where a trail would go. Is that the impression you got, Joe?
Yes.
So he wasn't opposed. We talked about using it as an opportunity, and that's where Diane Vance's expertise from the National Park Service came in. So all in all, it was a good meeting. I think it spoke volumes that we went to their house, because they've always been out here, and it was quite an adventure Joe and I had. Joe, you did a lot of walking on Friday, because you were telling my stormwater collaborator first.
Yeah.
And he wanted to take a cab back to the train, and I made him walk.
That's a long walk.
It is a long walk. It is a
Walked it
long.
twice.
I walked both ways too. Yeah, we both did a lot of walking on Friday. So that's all I have on MWRD. We've got their plans, and things seem to be moving along. And Natalie Creek Trail meeting tomorrow. Second on my agenda, this is what I'm really excited about. I'd like to read this letter for the public, but I did include it in the board package. This is on the RTA Access to Transit program. This is a grant that has been out there for about a year and a half now. The Honorable Karen Kreis, dear Trustee Kreis, I am pleased to inform you that the Regional Transportation Authority's Access to Transit Improvement Program application to the Congestion Mitigation and Air Quality, CMAQ program for fiscal year 2016 to 2020 was approved by the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning, CMAQ Board, and MPO Policy Committee on October 14, 2015. This application included your community's project for 147th Street streetscaping in the amount of $979,999.50. The RTA local match portion, 20% of the project, is subject to RTA board approval and will be considered by the RTA board on December 17, 2015. RTA staff will next submit to CMAP a request to transfer sponsorship of this project, allowing you to work directly with IDOT as the funding becomes available. Additionally, the RTA will draft an intergovernmental agreement, IGA, for the local match portion of your project, subject to RTA board approval in December. We look forward to working with you on this project. Please feel free to contact Tony Mano, Principal Analyst, if you have any questions and Tony's info at the RTA. Sincerely, Jessica Hector Hughes, Director Planning and Market Development, Regional Transportation Authority. I think we're going to get our $1 million project. I said that they were confident that this is going to get approved by the RTA board in December. I sent Tony Mano a letter transferring sponsorship of the project, and he had called me and said, this gets the RTA out of the mix. We can, Jeff, be working directly with IDOT now, which is a big plus. I have to go down to the, I have to be at IDOT on December 3rd, or if I'm not there, the project will get nixed. So if I fall off the face of the earth, somebody please go to IDOT in Schaumburg on December 3rd, okay? This is exciting. Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
It's come slowly.
We're getting $1 million in improvements, and Tony Mano told me in an email he can't wait to see the new sidewalks.
And this is for 147th Street?
In our TOD area, sidewalks, pedestrian lighting, crosswalks, a variety of improvements. So looks like we're on our way. Illinois Housing Development Authority app grant reimbursement update. We submitted our first request through the South Suburban Land Bank for reimbursement. Keep your fingers crossed. They already called me with a question on one of the bills, and I had to send the attorney an email for information, and I will thank you, and I will submit that information to them. So they are reviewing it again. It has to do with all of the asbestos testing, legal notices. We submitted everything we could under that grant. Keep your fingers crossed, because I think our first submittal was over $13,000. And the last item that I have, not the last on the agenda, I've got a couple more updates. Cook County 2015 scavenger tax sale information. We have property that, and I don't know if the attorney will take care of this. Are you aware of this? We have property that is up for sale that the village owns. There are 3 parcels. Do you know about it?
Yeah, that keeps getting put on there. We've been filing the exemption notices.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Village Hall is on there.
Okay, there's still 3 on there that I saw, okay? Okay, I just, I don't want to sell in Village Hall for, we might come here one day and the front door might be
It
locked.
was the Village Hall.
It is 14801 Pulaski,
Yes.
on the properties.
Yeah, we have the found, so I'll make sure it's on there.
Okay, and I am going to South Suburban Mayors and Managers tomorrow morning. Molly Ocean is presenting Rain Ready to their housing collaborative. And again, I talked about the Natalie Creek meeting tomorrow afternoon, and we have a ton of meetings next week as well, but I'll keep the board posted, and that is all I have.
Okay, trustee Ivan?
I don't have a lot to report on Public Works. Paving has started, and we actually laid, I think, the first layer of blacktop down on the outstanding projects. And I'm guessing with the cold weather coming in, we probably won't put another second layer down until next week or sometime.
Yeah, they got till the 20th of November to finish.
Well, then I'll have Joe do the rest of the updates for Public Works that are outstanding, and that would be it for me.
Okay. Trustee Gillis, presented by trustee Pilgrim.
I don't have anything for building, but we are doing 2 ordinances. 436 basically makes it optional for the building department to require architect's plans for any permit, either business or personal. Before, according to our ordinance, it was mandatory, and so we'd like to clear that up and make it optional. The building department can require it, have a stamped architect's plan, or there for things that don't require it, they can waive that. And I'd like to move adoption.
I have a motion to approve ordinance amending chapter 4-3-6, the permit application. I can get a second.
I will second.
Discussion?
Yeah, I do. I think we need to, on here it says recorded this 28th day of October 20, the dates on here are incorrect. I'll have to amend the dates, so do we have to amend the motion? No? Okay. October 28th.
Yeah, that's, oh. Yes,
So change it to the 11th day of November.
it is 11 days, I changed it already.
Oh, you changed it on yours, the
Oh,
copy I
okay.
had was
Original,
wrong.
yeah.
Okay.
Not changed on ours.
Okay, I have a first and a second. Roll call.
Trustee Killian.
Aye.
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Motion carried.
We have a new ordinance to enforce to put into action our idea that businesses were out of business, vacant properties and not operating at their location, that basically the owner or landlord, manager, whatever that might be, would have to take the sign designating a business within, after 30 days of consecutive days that they've been out of business. So I'd like to make a motion that we adopt this ordinance.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Killian.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Motion carried.
And that's all.
That's all you can do that. Trustee LaRue.
Yes, ma'am. I got the corrected EMA ordinance to everyone last week. I hope everyone had time to look at it and decide what to do. This is basically an ordinance that updates our books to reflect the name of our emergency service disaster agency to emergency management agency, which is in line with the state and Chicago and everyone around us. So I'd like to make a motion. I make a motion that we approve this ordinance, amending chapter 2-10 regarding EMA.
I'd like to second it.
Any discussion?
2-10-12, did we talked about that, right? The officers, under this, is that right? Mr. Gleason, that the officers of the village would be paid if they're called for training by the director of the EMA.
Yes.
IEMA.
Yes.
And does that mean, see, I'm confused because if you are not a member, oh yes, it says the members of EMA who are paid officer, employees or officers of the village. I don't think, at least from a trustee standpoint, if you volunteer for EMA, that you should expect compensation for training.
This is only, I believe, in circumstances where you're called out by the governor to respond to an
And you're leaving your paid job to go, your paid village job to go to training, you're reimbursed by the village. You wouldn't lose your pay because you're ordered by the governor to go to this training. The village would have to pay the employee time to go to the
What
training.
about the officers?
We only get a weekly check on how that would even apply.
That's verbatim from the statute, that's why it's set up that way. So you're supposed to get paid if you go, you don't have to accept a check.
Fine, never mind. I'm not on EMA anyway, but just saying. Okay.
Okay, I have a first and a second, roll call.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Killooly.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Motion carried.
I wanted to wish Fire Chief Hotwagner a happy birthday, but he's not here to accept the birthday wishes.
I guess he's celebrating his birthday without us.
I hope he is. He deserves it. I also wanted to thank all my fellow veterans for Veterans Day today for your time and your service, and those that are serving now too, actually. So. And I wanted to remind everyone, or I don't know if I brought this up yet, the Community Policing Committee and the Neighborhood Watch Group is once again doing the toy drive for Christmas this year. They are working through St. Vincent de Paul Society Food Pantry, and we're told that they have 150 kids that are in need of toys this year. So we are having drop-offs at Village Hall, Midlothian Library, Midlothian Park District, Two Sisters, Frozen Custard, and Canucks Pizza until December 11th. St. Christopher's Parish needs toys by no later than 19th, so we're trying to get it all organized by the end of the weekend of the 11th, 12th, and 13th. So we hope we all can give a little extra this year and do some nice Christmases for a lot of kids. That's all I have.
Okay, perfect. Trustee Killooly, that's you.
Okay, well, as I talked earlier, I want to try and have the Finance Committee convene as soon as possible so that we can start looking at the budget issues, also the tax levy, and start working on those issues as fast as we can. See where we are financially, and we've already talked to your treasurer about that, and she's working on those reports so we can get an idea where we are. And then should I move for the approval of the health insurance renewal for 2016?
Yes. I have a motion to approve the health renewal insurance for 2016.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Killooly.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Motion carried.
That's all I have.
Okay. Trustee Maskell?
Yes, Mayor, just two items this week. I have been in communication with Attorney Gleason regarding the overweight, oversized permitting process topic that I've discussed with the board in the past. And it appears that it is something we do want to move forward with, so more to come on that, but that is moving ahead. And then secondly, I believe all the members of the board received an email from Chief Kaufman in the last day or two of October about an issue at one of our liquor establishments, where he asked for some direction. So if you have not provided some feedback to either him or myself, I'd appreciate it if you would do that so we can figure out what next steps we need to take.
Can I just ask, Chief, the last time something like this happened, we shut it down for less than 24 hours?
We shut them down for, I think it was a day and a half. We originally shut them down for 3 days because it was Super Bowl weekend. We had long discussions and we didn't want to do that much damage to them with the Super Bowl. So
How many other departments had to show up for this one?
this time there was 4.
Total number of officers?
I have to look at the report. but I'm gonna guess 10 to 15.
We have one of our biggest nights of the year for trouble for the police on the streets, so,
Coming up shortly.
coming up very shortly, so if we're going to do something, I think we need to talk about that and provide the chief or the mayor some direction on that. That's all I have to say.
Go on to department heads. Chief Albright is going to skip his turn. Chief Kaufman?
I can say that the fire, the ambulance is in production. I think that by, I think we
Okay.
Other than the cameras are completely done now, well, other than the installation of the IP address. If anybody wants to see how they operate, they're 325. Actually, they're phenomenal, better than I expected, so. Other than that, that's all I have.
Okay.
Depends.
Superintendent Sperry?
Just a couple things. The inspection on the 3 million reservoir is complete, and we'll be putting it back into service tomorrow. We had two positive samples, 2 negative samples, water samples done on it, so tomorrow we'll put it back in service. We're waiting to get a recommendation for repairs from Robinson. We'll get a full report from them on their findings of the inspection. The lights alongside the railroad tracks south of 147th have been repaired by Metro. They had a broken line under the tracks, so they were out there Monday and Tuesday. Those are fixed finally. Painting and repairs of the railings at the Metro station have begun, and they should be complete with that in the next week or two. That's all I have.
Okay. Mr. Koza?
Talked about the CAD response, working on that, hope to have some more information next meeting for you guys. Also, the 144th, 149th Street plans are currently being reviewed by IDOT. We've got some comments from IDOT back, so those final plans are due in December. So moving forward on that as well. So that was all. Thank you.
I forgot, our treasurer, Ms. Britton, do you have anything?
I have nothing to report.
Okay, great, thank you, sorry about that.
Nice to have her.
No, it is nice to have you here, thank you. Okay, with that, we'll be moving on to my business. I'd be looking for approval for the ordinance amending Chapter 9, Chapter 9-19-18 on the crime-free housing. This is stemming from a change from the state legislators and the governor earlier this year, and this would keep us in compliance.
It relates to domestic violence. We can't use it as a reason to,
Somebody.
so if the police are trying to replace domestic violence related, then that can't go as a knock against that.
Disabilities as well.
Right. I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Tivoli.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next thing I have is the bond audit update. Maggie, thank goodness, was very generous in her time today. The auditors asked again to come back this afternoon, or this morning, and left us another list, I think, of 12 more documentations they're looking for. And Maggie thinks she has almost all of them. I actually found one when I came in this afternoon. It's like become a great big puzzle around here trying to find the pieces of paper. So I was promised that as soon as they get this, I'm hoping this is the last round, that they will have a final report to get to me so I can share it with the board as far as where the bonds money's sitting and everything. And as I shared with you earlier, we are constantly watching the financials of the state because how they reflect on us. Like I said, we just learned that they are now taking our local use tax as well. That's now 4 different pots or pockets they're taking the village's money out of. While it sounded like it was a great idea that the House passed overwhelmingly to give us back our money from 3 of the 4, with the Senate saying they're not going to meet until after January, it's looking very bleak that we'll see any of this money, if we ever get it at all, prior to, I would think, May or June.
When you say local tax, you mean the motor fuel tax?
No, local use tax.
Local use is for sales tax to purchase out of state. for people, if you, when you fill out your tax form, you put down what are purchases for, would you purchase,
You live here, but you purchase on out of state,
Right.
you just calculate on them.
right, so you self-report?
It's not a sales tax, it's
Right.
use tax. yeah.
Right.
Right. So we'll stay abreast with everything as much as we can.
Was there any type of reporting, preliminary report from you about that audit?
Nothing, no, just that, you know, they're still working on it. They thought they were going to be able to give me a preliminary draft, and then she decided she wanted more documentation, and that's where it got held up. Because I was actually anticipating having something for this evening in your hands so you could read it, and still nothing. It's very frustrating, but I figured we're getting a very thorough report at this point. It better be down to the penny.
So there was no preliminary audit given to you at all?
Not yet, no.
Because when I talked to the auditor this morning, I stopped by, Maggie was there, she said she had given you one.
She had given me some details of what was going to be in the preliminary report. She gave me an email. Yeah, that's all she gave me.
Okay. All right, maybe I misunderstood that.
Okay. Okay, and we'll go on to clerk's business.
Yes, a couple of things. First, the zoning board met on October 26th to hear a request to allow a residential property that's in a B3 zoning district at 14812 South Cicero. That's the property that is the Flying Tigers. From their minutes of the zoning board hearing, the zoning board made a motion to and approved the variance granted based on two conditions. One was that a new water line be installed directly to the house, that would be the residential property right behind the Flying Tiger, and also that a sign be placed in front of the commercial building advising that there is a residence in the rear. That was a fire department recommendation. So I'm looking for a motion from the board with regards to this approval by the zoning board to allow the residential property be used as a rental property.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the variance.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Trustee Killian.
Aye.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Motion carried. The second item that I have is a resolution 15-1111A, resolution authorizing a request to close eastbound lanes of 147th Street for the 36th annual Santa Claus Parade. That needs to be sent to Illinois Department of Transportation for a permit to close the street.
Mike, I think on the back.
There's an
Yeah,
error.
There's an error.
Yep. we pointed it
Right
out.
before the signature section, it says, resolution authorizing request to close eastbound lanes of 147th Street / 5th Annual Independence Day Parade.
Yeah, I understand that. Yes. That'll be changed.
Motion? I'll make the motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Killian.
Aye.
And Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Motion carried. The second part of that is also going to be a request which I sent already to Cook County for their permit to close Pulaski. So we'll have permits for both. And then with regards to the Santa Claus Parade, I have a form to be sent back to Chamber of Commerce with regards to the village entry. Is the village going to have a float or?
We just walk,
Okay.
right? We don't spend money on a float, we just walk.
Okay. I'll let them know. And the last item was the approval of the membership for the Illinois Municipal League. Based on our population in the village of Midlothian, the rate is $1,250. Annual,
You know,
yes.
I have a question, I thought about this. Do we really need to, we used to get our insurance through them, do we really need to spend this money? Are we missing anything by not being a part of them, other than getting the monthly magazine, which you could go online and get?
The convention and lobbying services. You know, convention is during the week when a lot of the trustees can't attend it, you know, some people can, I don't know, but it's not on the weekend so much, Saturday a little bit, but most of the trustees can't attend it because it's on weekdays. And the lobbying services, your judgment on that, I think we need as much lobbying as we can get right now. I don't know if $1,250 is a lot of money for those services. Personally, I would go vote for it, but it's up to you.
A lot of good information in the magazine that helps me as a trustee. I could get one copy and share it with you guys.
What's it gonna save us, $1?
I'd like to make the motion to approve the membership to Illinois Municipal League for this year.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Coley.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Masco.
Aye.
Motion carried. That's all I have.
Mike?
Yes.
Have you got any responses yet back from the RFP for HR yet?
I have not.
No emails or anything?
I have not. As of today,
Okay, thank you.
the only.
Just the one that we talked about?
That was the only one.
This was our,
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to bring that up. Actually, this afternoon when I was here, not a resident, but a business owner, and him and his wife came and stopped by and gave me this letter. They are asking the board consider increasing the amount of liquor licenses we have in the village. Right now, we currently have 15, all 15 are out, and they would like to open an establishment in Tiffany Plaza. I told them that there is a waiting list for liquor licenses right now, and they said, they had asked me last week, what could we do? And I said, I really didn't know how the board felt about giving or authorizing more liquor licenses, but if they wanted to put it in writing, why we should, and I would present it to you guys for discussion. So that's why I gave it to you this evening. I figured we could discuss it next week at committee a little bit more in depth. You guys could review it and think about how many liquor licenses or whatever you want to get.
You need our approval to increase our license issue?
You have a cap by ordinance.
There's an ordinance.
Oh, you have a cap by ordinance?
Right. So I don't have the
You
authority
don't
to
have the
just
authority. Okay.
increase
Approve
it.
it.
I can approve
Yes.
the liquor licenses, I just can't increase the amount I have to give.
How many do we have on the waiting list?
I believe there's one currently, plus this couple would be the second one.
I think there's one for T-Mobile Plaza, one for Tiffany, Mr. Pagoo.
That one's already been declined. Correct.
So let's do.
Well, we need one for like Ricky Rockets.
Ricky Rockets needs 3, I thought, total.
It's gonna be a different class than
there's 3 different classes.
Well, maybe, I think they're getting at least 1A, and I know they're getting resale, package sale.
Gaming, I don't know, there's 3 of them.
Right.
Did he say we're at Tiffany Plaza, he'd like to put this Las Vegas like atmosphere gaming cafe?
I have no clue.
Where the distillery was.
Oh, is that that's where they're going? Okay. So I figured we could have further discussion about it next week. And we could maybe pick a magic number when we want to increase the ordinance to it and choose to do so. Okay? Great, thank you, something.
I'm sorry, can I ask you one more question? Could
Yeah.
you, by any chance, if you have some preliminary information on the audit, could you send that to the board?
Sure. Yeah, I'll send you, what she had basically told me in the email was that, that the 2009 still had money left over from the profits of the 2010 had left over, and then there was a big discrepancy, because she said something about like $4.2 million being left from the 2010 A bond, and we know there's no $4.2 million sitting in the bank account, so I emailed her back and said, where's the discrepancy? And she hasn't even gotten back to me with that answer yet. So I was waiting for further clarification, but yeah, I'll send you what she sent me in the email.
I think that'd be helpful for the board.
Okay.
Waiting.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. Right now, I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn to executive session for the purpose of discussing the compensation, employment, or discipline of specific employees.
I'll make the motion.
Roll call.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Foley.
Aye.
Trustee Baskin. Aye. Motion approved.
There will be no further action after closed session, so you are allowed to leave. Once again, I would like to thank all the veterans and everyone who is still serving our country. Thank you for your time, dedication, and for giving us the freedom to be here this evening.